All right, in this lesson, we are going to be comparing fractions and then ordering them from least to greatest. So the two things we're going to do in this, we're going to compare them, like seeing which one's bigger, and then we're going to put them in order. There's a problem when you're comparing fractions. Like comparing normal numbers is easier because the bigger number is bigger and the smaller number is smaller. But that's not always true when it comes to fractions. Right? To be able to tell how big a fraction is, it's really a comparison of the two numbers. So you could have two really small numbers, but it ends up becoming bigger than two really big numbers. So the best way to compare fractions is, we're going to talk about our procedure. We are going to need to use common denominators. Oops. So once you get the denominators to match, then you can compare just which number's bigger. See, let's get an example. Five eighths and 7/12. It's kind of hard to figure out which one of those is bigger. I mean, I've been doing this for a long time, and I still don't know off the top of my head which one of those two is bigger. Right? It's not obvious. You can't. It's too hard to be able to tell. There's no secret there. So the way, like, there isn't any trick. So you have to get common denominators for them. The way that what happens then with common denominators, we have to see like they're speaking the same language. So between 8 and 12, what could they both become? Just say it. 24. So I'd multiply this by 3, and this is how you would show your work, and this by 2. So you're going to copy it out. Then underneath, you'll write it out. 15/24 and 14/24. Now we can tell which one's bigger. Right? Which one's bigger? The 5/8. So then we'll go back to the original problem and we'll put that one's bigger. Yeah, it is. It is. It's not that hard. Here's again, the reason why we're doing this. You don't need to write this in your notes. That's why I'll put it off to the side here. But imagine like someone's eating pizza and someone eats 5 little pieces, or someone eats 2 big pieces. Which person ate more? Well, there's not enough information there. It's too hard to tell, right? Like, how little are the little pieces? How big are the big pieces? So you can't just tell, oh, because someone ate 5 or someone ate 2, that they ate more or less, right? What if the little pieces are like unbelievably little? Or what if the big pieces are extremely big? It's too hard to tell. So when you're getting common denominators, what that's doing, it's like you're cutting them up into equal slices. And so now it's saying, okay, I can see now that they're all the same size slice, and this person here ate 8 little slices, and this one ate 5 little slices. That's what getting common denominators does. It's making the pieces equal. Question, yes? So the next part of this is going to ask you to put stuff in order. And so we'll talk about, and that's where they'll have multiple ones of them. So we're not going to do more examples of that. We're going to talk about how we put them in order. And the long procedure to put something in order is to get all of them to have common denominators and then put them in order. But let's talk about some tricks, because there's ways to do this without having to put all of them in with common denominators. One trick that could help you is you should try to think of something less than or greater than 1/2. That's one trick. And so let's talk about what I mean by that. Let's say we had 3 problems. We had 2 11ths, 9 12ths, and we'll go with 5 6ths. Without finding common denominators, because to find a common denominator between 11, 12, and 6 would be very difficult. We should already know that 2 11ths is already smaller than the 2 of these. Right? Because think about this. What's half of 12? So this is larger than half. What's half of 6? 3. So this is also larger than half. Let's see if you guys can do this. What's half of 11? 5.5, right? Isn't 2 less than 5.5? So without doing anything, I already know that that's going to be the smallest one. Now between these two, well, maybe I can't figure it out. So I could just get common denominators off to the side with this one. That would be what, times 2 and times 2, 10 12ths. Hey, look, I already had them in order. And then I would know, okay, 9 12ths and then 5 6. So that's one way to save yourself a little bit of work and time. If you look at it and think, oh, look at that one is clearly less than half, and these ones are more than half, then you know that then you can save yourself some work. If that doesn't make any sense, then you can get common denominators with all of them, but good luck with that. To find 11, 12, and 6, that's going to be some big, massive number. You have to figure out what 11 times 12 times 6 is, and that's going to be really hard. Here's another trick. If they have the same numerator, normally common denominators works, but common numerators work as well. If they have the same numerator, then it's like backwards. Then the smaller denominator is actually bigger. Let me show you. Let's say we had 1/8, 1/2, and 1/5. What the denominator says is how many pieces that you would slice something up into. So if I have one piece of 8 slices, that's going to be smaller than one piece of 2 slices, isn't it? Or one piece of 5 slices. So if the numerators are the same, you don't need to get common denominators. We already know that 1/8 is the smallest, and then 1/5, and then 1/2. Again, the official procedure, like the real way to do it, is to say get common denominators. And then you'd have to figure out what's in common between 8, 5, and 2. But that's a lot of work. I want to help you guys find ones that or find ways to save some work. Let me show you some other examples in this. Let's look at 21 here. You have to think, okay, well, maybe I got to get common. Well, look at this one, 2 over 1. Isn't that going to be the number 2? Isn't that already larger than 5/8 and 7/9? Yes. So I already know that that one's the largest one. Maybe I don't know which one's larger between 5/8 and 7/9. Well, now I only have to compare 2 instead of comparing all 3. Right? 19 is like one that we talked about. All the numerators are the same. So then it's just like backwards with the denominators. 18 is one you can think of like with the 1/2. right? 5/6 is clearly the largest because it's above 1/2. Now, between 1/3 and 3/8, maybe you don't know, you could compare those. So I'm just trying to find some ways to show you some tricks to make it easier, because if not, putting those in order would become like giant monster problems. And I don't want those to be giant monster problems for you guys.